Okay, so I wanted to talk a little bit about a squat. Okay, why you should be doing them, when you should be doing them, should you even be doing them. 90% of my clients here right now don't do squats, and it's not because the squats are bad exercise. It's probably the most functional thing you could do, but it's because they don't have the proper mobility to be able to do it safely. Okay, so what we do is we do different variations, or we adjust the exercise, try something different until we have the proper mobility and the right movement pattern to be able to load it properly. The last thing we want to do is add strength to dysfunction and have more injuries. So let's take a look at what a perfect squat should look like. Let's say this is you doing a squat. Your feet are flat on the ground. And your ankle and your knee are parallel with your hips and your shoulders. Two parallel lines. Your hips are below your knees and your head is in line with your spine, looking straight parallel with the floor. Okay? That in my mind is a perfect squat. Let's take a look at what most people look like when they do a squat and what I like to call pooping dog syndrome, and why we don't want to be doing this. Most people when they squat that have some sort of mobility issue or pain look something like this. Okay, pooping dog syndrome. Shins are almost vertical because we have limited mobility in our ankle. So our shins are almost straight up and down. We cannot get below 90 degrees or even to 90 degrees. So therefore our back rounds and our eyes are always trying to stay parallel with the horizon. So our head gets cranked up. Okay. What then happens is our vertebrae separate. Boom, we get a slip disc. 70% of people right now, 7 out of 10 people walking around the mall, the grocery store right now, have a disc that's on the verge of slipping out. It's very, very dangerous. So the last thing we want to do is load this, put some weight on your back, and claim that you can squat heavy, heavy, heavy weight. Okay? We want to focus on getting proper range of motion as much as we can. There's 2 ways that we can do this. My personal favorite way is to work on mobility, and we'll show you some mobility issues and how to overcome them here shortly. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to chop your body in half. Okay? Because we want to teach the brain this pathway and that you do have the range of motion and get you the range of motion, we want to still try to mimic this pattern. So we're going to cut your body in half by doing a split squat. Okay? You can still see that our ankle and knee are parallel with our hip to shoulder. We get below, our hips get below our knees, and our eyes and head are in line with our spine and the floor. Meanwhile, we're stretching our hip flexors and our quads and our opposite leg, our thigh muscles. So I'm going to show you how to do that now. So, split squat. Chopping the body in half, trying to still mimic the squat position. Couple things. Always, always, always start from the bottom. Okay? What you're going to do, front foot is always completely straight and flat, which means imagine there's a spider underneath your heel. You're trying to squish that spider as hard as you can into the floor. The middle of your knee tracks out over your small toe, your baby toe. There's a couple ways that you can do these split squats. Number 1 is 90 degrees. 90 degrees of the front leg, 90 degrees of the back leg. Push both toes and your heel and your front foot through the floor as hard as you possibly can until you stand straight up. Slow motion all the way down. Pause just before the floor. Press back up. Your foot is completely flat, straight. Knee tracks over your baby toe. Straight up. Slow motion all the way down. Number 2 is we want to start working on the mobility of our ankle, which means that we want to get as much flexion as possible by driving it forward, still keeping our heel on the ground. So, middle of our knee tracks over our baby toe, forward, belly button tight, chin tucked, back toes down, press as hard as you can. Pause at the top, slowly lower, press straight back up. Working on getting as much range of motion to the ankle, but keeping the heel on the floor. Knee tracks over baby toe. Keep your feet apart. Drive forward, stomach tight. Push. Now, if you're having some troubles with balance, all you have to do is widen your stance. So you don't want to be on a tightrope. Widen your feet a little bit. Same position. Press up. Slowly lower down. Imagine the ground is covered with eggs. If you go down too fast, you're going to break them all. So go as slow as you can. Gently tap or stop just before the floor and back up. Now the other option that we have is to add a block to your heels. Now there's two main reasons why women wear high heels. One is to be taller. We don't really care about that today. Number two is as soon as you elevate your heels, your body starts to fall forward on your face. Okay, but your brain is much smarter than to let you fall forward, so it's going to create compensations by lifting up your chest, pushing your butt back. Okay, so we want that same position when we're in a squat, as long as we can keep our core tight. What we're going to do is we're going to temporarily add in some mobility to our ankles with this block. Down slow, as low as you can comfortably, stomach tight. Push your heels through the block. Back up. Now, the bottom of this squat, imagine that you're standing on top of a newspaper and you're trying to tear the newspaper apart by driving your knees wide as you stand up.